share option in my gallery. It gave me a quick list of contacts I'm commonly in contact with. I ignorantly thought it was a good idea to use this presented option. I clicked my husband's contact and hit that faithful blue button to send the video. Also, I thought I clicked my husband's contact. The F up. I actually clicked my best friend's contact and sent it to her. Luckily, she has been like my sister for well over a decade. She and I laughed it off, but I've been getting hell from both my husband and best friend for a week. That's hilarious. It's good that you've got a good best friend though. I feel like that would also be the reaction of me and my best friend. We just laugh, we just find it funny. Yeah, someone in the comments said there are a myriad of worse people you could have sent this to count your blessings. Yeah, it could have been like your mom or your boss. At least it was your best friend. This next one is a bit of a long one. It's by the Rocket N-O-O-B. The Rocket Noob with zeros. Titled, Today I effed up by trading in the guitar I've been playing to my son for a better guitar. My son is 8. Last year I bought a cheap guitar, one I thought would be decent based on YouTube reviews, because the old beta I had borrowed from a friend was too uncomfortable to play. I got something called a Gretsch Jim Dandy, a dark cherry red, small-bodied guitar. It cost about $200. It was much more comfortable to play and pretty cute, and I started playing regularly again. I sing my son to sleep every night with this guitar in hand. I play and sing to him until he's out, and I'm never sure how much he's paying attention to it and how much is just background going to sleep noise. Thing is, this Jim Dandy was frustrating. It was small and felt good in my hands, and I've played it a lot more than any other guitar I've owned. Mostly just chords and singing, nothing fancy. But it was so hard to get into tune, and it wouldn't stay in tune for long, and the tone was terrible. I hated the way it sounded. So I'd been looking at acoustic guitars at a local guitar center for weeks, thinking I'd get something maybe a little more expensive, nothing crazy, but something that would stay in tune and sound a bit better. Something made by Yamaha, who have a reputation of good work even on budget guitars. I was willing to go up to maybe $800, maybe more, if I found just the right one. Then a few days ago I found one I fell in love with. Surprisingly, it was only $259, but it felt great. It sounded great, it was easy to tune, and it stayed in tune. Then I found out if I brought my old guitar in, I could probably sell it to them and get a discount, making it an inexpensive guitar even cheaper. So I brought in the Jim Dandy. I thought they'd offer me $50 for it, but frankly I figured once I had this new Yamaha I would never play the Jim Dandy again. So I just was sobbing hard, and I asked him why. He was so upset because he said he missed my old guitar. He said this new one sounds better and he likes it, but he likes the old one better. I tried to get him to tell me what he liked better about the old guitar, but he said he didn't know. His crying got harder and harder, and I was having a hard time comforting him, and the new guitar seemed to be upsetting him, so I put it away. He kept saying he wished I hadn't sold it, and I just want to get it back. After a while, my wife came in to comfort him. I talked to him a long time about it, saying I was sorry he missed the guitar, and that I didn't think it would upset him, and explaining why I wanted a new one, and that I would be able to play better for him, but he was inconsolable. After a while, I had to leave the room because I couldn't comfort him. Then about 10 minutes later, he came into the room where I was sitting. He sat on my lap and tried to talk to me. This is kind of a big deal. He has a hard time talking about big feelings sometimes. I asked him to try and articulate why he liked the old guitar so much. You've been playing so many songs for me when I go to sleep, like a year of songs, and I just like it and I just want to get it back. The guitar I've sung to him on for a year is gone, and his heart is broken, and it's my fault. I know if I had just kept it, which I thought about for a minute, I would have played to him on the new one and it never would have been an issue. But the fact that it's gone is heartbreaking. My wife didn't totally understand it. She thinks it's just some attachment to a thing. I said no. This is an attachment to a history associated with that thing, and I get it. Anyway, I told him, look, I can ask if I can get it back for the price they paid for it. Maybe I shouldn't, but I don't like how much this has affected him. But I said if they asked me to pay their new retail price for it, I had to explain how selling things for a profit works first. I couldn't do that. I said I was very sorry, and I'm so touched that my singing to him was so important, but I did tell him that I'm keeping the new guitar, whatever happens. If I can get the old one back for 105 or even just a little higher, I doubt I can, but we'll see. I will. But I told him I can't promise anything. I still feel awful. If the workers there have a heart, then I'm sure they'll work something out with you. If you tell them why you want it back so badly, that is so sad. The poor little guy, he couldn't, he loves it so much because he has these happy, safe memories of his dad singing to him with that guitar. That's his guitar that his dad sang to him with, like, that's their guitar, you know. It's like, but he couldn't, like, because he's so little, he couldn't understand why. That's so sweet but so sad. I really hope he managed to get it back. That's so cute. So cute. Okay. Wait, let me make sure I saved that. I did, okay. The next one is by Cats Plus Tats, and it's titled, Today I effed up by stretching so hard I fainted. Oh my god, can you do that? So obligatory. This happened a few weeks back and started even sooner. I have degenerative disc disease in my cervical spine. It is uncomfortable sometimes, but mostly no big deal, except when symptoms first started a few years ago. Anyway, about 6 weeks ago, I was in the back seat of a car when the driver hit a speed bump really hard. I was jolted upwards and hit my head against the roof of the car. Ever since, my neck has hurt quite badly, so I've been stretching frequently and deeply for relief. After a couple of weeks, I was stretching when suddenly I briefly lost consciousness and fainted. It hurt, but at the time I was mostly worried because I broke my glasses. I think I was in shock. 5/6 months pregnant and naturally always hungry. When always hungry, I'm always also snacking. I bought some mini turkey stick bite things. I checked the bag several times under the nutritional facts and even under the ingredients, where I have always found something along the lines of refrigerate after opening if the item needed to be consumed after a certain amount of time or requires refrigeration. Well, silly me never thought to check the front of the packaging. All black packaging, the smallest letters I've ever seen in a brown orange shade, is casually refrigerate after opening. Then I thought back to the last 4 days that I've been munching these out of the bag in my work vest pockets, and it all clicked into place. At least I work inside. At least, like, okay, my phone is like crashed for some reason. At least it wasn't bad enough that you like pooped your pants. Okay, let's see what we have next. Let's see what we have next. The next one is by these_avocado_bombs. Titled, Today I effed up by getting scared by a cat while holding a box cutter. Oh god, I think we can all guess where that's gonna go. I am putting down sticky tile in my bathroom. I pulled a stool to the door to finish the last row there. Opened a new box of tiles and a new box cutter because the old one got wet and rusted. I was trying to figure out how to get a clean cut across the tile, cut it in half. I must have been playing with the box cutter. I had the tiles in my lap and was thinking how best to cut these without cutting myself. The ones I laid or the toilet seat. What did I do the other week when I did the others? Do I have a board somewhere? I don't care if I scratch up. Think. Cat suddenly jumped on my back and scared the stuffing out of me. I don't remember opening/sliding the blade forward. I don't know how I managed to move and press the box cutter against my leg, but I did. Dumbass me. I cleaned it, steri strips, and covered it with a bandage, even though I probably need 2 or 3 stitches because all the clinics are closed or overfull, and I'm not spending the night in an ER waiting room for 2 stitches. Someone in the comments said, do you have super glue? It's often used to close wounds like that and you can do it easily yourself at home. I know they use glue in hospitals and stuff, but is I thought it was like a special type of glue. Is it just normal, like super glue? Can you do that? Oh my god, okay. This next one is by RC107412 and it's titled, Today I effed up by taking a nap so hard I showed up to work 9.5 hours early. What? That must have been an amazing sleep. Y'all are gonna get a kick out of this. I just had the most disorientating nap of my life. Got off work at 2 PM, came home, took a bath, ate, went to my room and started scrolling on my phone. Apparently my body decided that's enough consciousness for today because I passed out. I woke up around 7:30 from the deepest sleep known to mankind, looked at the clock, and my confused ass immediately thought it was 7:30 AM Friday. Mind you, my shift starts at 5 AM, so I jumped up like, crap, I'm now 2.5 hours late for work. I got dressed in a panic and hauled ass to work. boss was looking at me like I had completely lost my damn mind. I explained the whole situation and she immediately started laughing. Then she hits me with, "Michael, it's Thursday. It's 7:30 at night." I just stood there for a second while my brain rebooted and then started laughing my butt off. Apparently, I took a nap so powerful that I time travelled, skipped the rest of Thursday, missed the first 2.5 hours of an imaginary Friday shift, and showed up to work 9.5 hours early for my actual shift. Yeah, I'm going back home. Clearly I've done enough for today. That's funny. That's really funny. This next one is by Mail Maldives. Today I effed up by wearing old shoes to an interview. I have 2 pairs of nice shoes, a brown and a black pair. I normally wear the brown ones, but I thought the black ones went better with the attire I had picked out. I hadn't worn them in forever, but besides a little dust on them, they looked fine. I cleaned off the dust and slipped them on fine. When I went into the building, I see the rubber sole is splitting and peeling a bit. I figured it's bad, but just walk in, sit down, interview and walk out. The interview went well, but then they wanted to give me a tour of the facilities. Here's where I should have declined the tour or said something, but I didn't know the extent of the damage that would soon unwrap around me. During the tour, the soles of my shoes disintegrated. I had a trail of rubber chunks following me, maybe up to 50% remained of the soles, and my sole as well. By the time I got out of there, I know they noticed, but I was too shocked and embarrassed to think about what I should have said or done. Someone in the comments said, "Nothing shows better how desperately you need that job." That used to be a thing with me when I was in primary school. Like, my mum couldn't afford to get me new shoes all the time, and I was a bit of a wild child, so I was always running around scraping my shoes, like climbing things and playing football and stuff like that, and my shoes were always like talking, like the front of them had split and they were talking all the time. This next one is by Drift. It's titled, "Today I effed up by leaving my passport in a moving box." I was in a flurry packing before a big move, and I assumed I had packed my passport in a carry-on suitcase. The movers took all my boxes a few days ago to a storage facility. I have an international flight booked for Monday. On the way to a different city, I thought about double-checking but kept forgetting because my suitcase was in the cargo of a bus. I just finally checked and broke into a cold sweat because I cannot find my passport anywhere. The only logical conclusion is that I left it in the bag I had brought with me for a domestic flight a week or so ago. Why it had never occurred to me to double check, literally I could survive without anything except for the passport, is beyond me. I am kicking myself because it's now in storage, so I have to take a 5-hour bus back. Somehow begged the moving company to let me into their storage facility on a weekend, and then hope I was right and that the bag had the passport, and then take the bus again to make my flight, which is in a different city than I moved out of. Freak my life. Oh god. That is the worst thing ever. That I would be so overwhelmed trying to figure out how to get it in time, like, especially like, what if you get there and like make them open it up and stuff and it's not there? Imagine. Okay, this next one is by Pikachu. Pikachu is genius. Titled, "Today I effed up by attempting a quick DIY fix on my glass glasses with a thick plastic frame. Yesterday afternoon, the left arm snapped clean off at the hinge. Since I had an important call an hour later and couldn't see past my own nose, I decided I didn't have time to run to an optician. Enter my genius idea: super glue. I placed a microscopic bead of Gorilla Glue on the tiny hinge, pressed the arm back on and held it tightly. What I failed to realize was that the glue creeps into crevices fast. I held it for about 60 seconds and decided it was dry enough and immediately put the glasses onto my face to test the fit. Turns out a tiny drop of excess glue had run along the rim and hadn't cured yet. The second the frame touched my eyebrow and outer eyelid, it instantly bonded. When I tried to pull the glasses off in panic, my eye dragged up with them. I ended up stuck in a permanent forced half-wink on the left side of my face. I spent the next 45 minutes hovering over my bathroom sink, applying warm water and acetone with a Q-tip while trying not to blind myself. I managed to free my eye 5 minutes before my call, but my outer eyelid was bright red and missing half an eyebrow. I had to do a 40-minute presentation looking like I had just lost a street fight with a tube of crazy glue. Oh god, I would panic so bad and probably end up yanking it by accident from freaking out and ripping it off. Oh my god. Okay, this next one is gonna be the last one for tonight. It's by Massive-Woe978 and is titled, "Today I effed up by attending a butterfly release at my office." For the past few weeks I've been walking by this one department in my office and they've had these butterfly gardens, basically little net houses. At first they're caterpillars, then they become cocoons, then they turn into butterflies. I walk by every day and look at them because it's so cool. Today I'm on my lunch break and one of my co-workers, who's also been over there looking at them, is like, "Hey, they're about to release the butterflies outside the building, come watch." And I was like, oh my gosh, so I ran after them. Mind you, as I'm walking up to this butterfly release, I do not know a single person there. I have never even seen any of these people's faces before, but in my mind this is just a small department of 10 or so people releasing the butterflies they've been raising, so whatever. I get outside and the small crowd is gathered in a circle and they're like, "Okay, we're going to release the butterflies." I'm so giddy, smiling ear to ear. Then the woman doing the release is like, "I'm not very good at public speaking, so sorry if I mess up." And in my head I'm like, "Girl, it's a butterfly release, it's not that big of a deal." Then she's like, "If anyone wants to say a few words before the release, you can do so now." No one says anything, it's completely silent and feels so awkward. So I decide to help break the silence and say, "I hope the butterflies live a long, great life." Then it starts to click. We had all gotten an email about 3 weeks ago that an employee at the company had passed away. I didn't know her, so I didn't really think of anything when I went outside. They're literally having a memorial for her. Apparently she really liked butterflies and the butterfly release was part of her memorial. Me and my co-worker looked at each other like, oh my god, we just crashed a memorial. Then they started playing her favourite sad John Mayer song. Everyone's crying and giving eulogies for like 30 minutes. And me and my co-worker are just standing there mortified. But because we were so deep at that point, we couldn't leave because that felt disrespectful. It was disrespectful to be there in the first place, but also disrespectful to leave, so we just stood there sweating until it was all over. Then afterward we were basically like, "So we didn't know, sorry for crashing your memorial." And I know technically for TIFU it's supposed to actually be your fault, and obviously I had absolutely no idea this was a this entire situation only happened to me because I decided I needed to go and see these butterflies get released. I feel like that has to count for something.